Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to It's Wrestling Time Push, a very special Tuesday edition of It's Wrestling Time. It is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, and tonight, surprise, surprise, once again, I'll be talking about NXT, but I'm not alone. Joining me is the Renegade himself, JJ Williams.
Hello, hello. 2 weeks in a row, we've gotten you to not only watch, but review NXT. I feel like you're slowly starting to come to the dark side. You're slowly started to get that little conversion over here.
Well, for the record, JJ and I had a deal which
We
did
did.
not include reviewing NXT. It was if I watched NXT for a month from New Year's Evil to Vengeance Day, he would watch TNA from Hard to Kill to No Surrender.
Yep.
Reviewing the show was not part of the deal.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, I'm willing to review TNA Impact, even if I don't end up staying with it. You know, past No Surrender, I'm willing to get in there and review it too. So it just warms my heart that you actually were receptive to sit down and review it. And I mean, you're getting traction in the chat room. Daniel's here. Jeff is here.
Jeff says one of us.
Exactly.
Is that supposed to be a reference to Freaks?
I'm not sure.
I'm watching it without power in my house using mobile data because of the winter weather in Michigan. Ouch.
See, look at that. Look at that. You have got viewers that are so dedicated to watching this. They are watching while they are having power outages because they love NXT.
I appreciate the support, Daniel. Thank you. It warms my heart.
Really quickly, before we get into NXT, I gotta say, every time I watch your opening, when it shows the yellow backdrop with the lightning bolt, it always makes me think of CM Punk. I get the fact that it's all Rangers, themed, obviously Rangers of Wrestling, but when it does the yellow screen for Trini, I'm like, dude, if that's not CM Punk with the yellow and the lightning bolt, like for real.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like I said, when I made this video, it was just supposed to be in chronological order for the Moors, and I found those randomly on the website I used to make it, like Canva. So it didn't even occur to me with CM Punk, but that's a good reference.
Rangers of Wrestling. See, you got both of them there in your intro.
And the Renegade of Wrestling. We're
ROW squared.
Right, we're squared to the second power, if anybody wants to get mathematical here. Jeff says it's pretty much being nonsensical in his illness-induced state, but you digress. So I hope you feel better, Jeff.
Yes, feel better, boss man.
Whose name is not on tonight's marquee.
No, because your name is on the marquee tonight. This is Datila's show.
Yeah.
It may not be her NXT yet, but this is still her show that we're on. So.
Yes, for a month, apparently. Okay. Let's kick things off talking about this North American title match. It was originally Dragon Lee versus Lexis King. So first off, I have to say I really like Lexis King entrance. Like he's got that sliding throne and stuff. That's pretty badass if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed his presentation since his first match, which, if I remember correctly, was Halloween Havoc. He actually made his in-ring debut. And the first time I saw the throne just slide out there with him just kind of chilling on it, I was like, okay, they're definitely trying to make Pillman Jr. here a big deal.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My dog is just I guess there's
no worries.
Door, Yeah, I could definitely see them trying to make him a big deal. Like that special entrance is, not everybody in NXT, from what I've seen so far, has a special entrance.
Nah. Nah, the closest they've got is like Tiffany's got her entrance, Kiana's got her entrance. A lot of the special entrances, ironically, are with the women in NXT, but you can maybe count Axiom's with his slow mo like Zoom thing that they do with his entrance, but pretty much everybody else is pretty subpar.
Okay, I gotta pay attention more to the women's entrances next time, I guess.
Well, next week's not going to be a good week because it's going to be that battle royal, so most of them are already going to be in the ring when the match starts. I'd
Okay,
almost bet that's how the show's going to start, is with that match. But
yeah. So in terms of Dragon Lee versus Lexis King, I actually
mhm.
enjoyed. I thought it was a pretty decent match.
Yeah,
Dragon Lee did retain. No surprise there. And at the end, Oba Femi cashed in his contract, and he dominated Dragon Lee like nothing. Like he tossed him around like a rag doll here. And Oba Femi did win. He is now the North American champion. I believe the youngest, it said he's only 22. So
something like that. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to his age, but considering that he just came through the breakout tournament, him being the youngest wouldn't surprise me there. I almost wonder if this was the plan for last week, was to do this after Obafemi won the tournament, but with Dragon Lee having the visa issues and Carlito taking his place in the match, like I wonder if they were going to do like a same night cash in last week and it had to be postponed to this week with everything that happened.
maybe it's a good possibility. So I have to say, Oba Femi, from the two times that I've seen him, he's a star in the making. He's definitely has a bright future ahead of him in WWE.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't get like put into that box of like big meaty men slapping meat, because he's got that size to him where you could see him in there with a Big E and Otis and Eric and Ivar, some of the bigger dudes on the roster, but you don't want him to be put in that little niche box because he's definitely got something more special to him than just that, much like Big E did. Like I said last week, I see a lot of young Big E in this guy.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. Like I said last time, I'm very interested to see where he is in a year from now.
Definitely.
Okay. So tonight's NXT actually kicked off with Blair Davenport and Nikkita Lyons attacking each other in the parking lot. Same old, same old. The NXT parking lot is not safe. Even during the black and gold
No.
era, it wasn't safe, and even now, it's still not safe. As the saying goes, some things never change.
Yeah, I guess like I'm still familiarizing myself with the black and gold NXT,
My
but
NXT, my and
you
Noah's
know,
NXT. Shout out to Noah
oh,
if you're listening.
oh, look at you. Here we go. Now you support the NXT. But I it to me it was just trying to be like a callback to when Nikkita got attacked and taken out in the first place.
Mhm.
Blair trying to jump her before the match, figures if she can attack her, there is no match. Maybe she can bench Nikkita for another year almost. Nikkita had the eyes going in the back of her head, though. She saw it coming. Two women brawled. They tried to make it seem on commentary like they had been brawling for 15 minutes, but they stopped long enough for Nikkita to get changed into her ring gear.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But other than that, like I liked the intensity here between the two women. It was a little bit predictable. Something in my gut told me that Nikkita wasn't going to get the victory here. She had her moment kicking Blair's head off when she came back a few weeks ago. They weren't going to give her the victory. Blair is definitely the star, like on the rise here. But nonetheless, good intensity, I thought, between both women. Nikkita thought was a little bit sloppy in some of the execution of her moves. You could see that, I don't want to straight up call him a botch because I think a botch is rude, but definitely a little bit sloppy in the execution there.
Okay, I think that's a fair critique. I thought that the match, again, I'm still familiarizing myself with Nikkita Lyons and Blair Davenport. I need to know more about them,
Yeah. I know Noah could give you a good history on Blair Davenport because she's been around for a minute. Nikkita is one of those girls that just kind of came quietly through the system. She had a music career or has a music career also going, and she's spotted by WWE, went through the Performance Center, got brought up to the main NXT roster, and she's definitely got a future, if nothing else, in her appeal to the male demographic.
Yeah, I've read about that. So, but I'm sure. Yeah, I'm very curious to see where Nikkita Lyons is also a year from now. She's improved, but I think she can still go more in ways to improvement.
Agreed. I am reading rumors, and take it for what they are. They're rumors that the people on the main roster are looking to maybe have her be one of the NXT entries in the Women's Rumble.
Oh, I think
So
that would be a great thing for her.
So don't be surprised if you see her come out come January 27th.
Okay. I wouldn't. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. All right, next we had a Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes segment. Again, it seems like there's some tension between them, some animosity maybe building here. Carmelo Hayes put them in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which it initially seems like Trick Williams was not happy about that because he's trying to focus on this title opportunity against Ilya Dragunov.
Mm-hmm.
And, Carmelo Hayes basically had to convince him for this.
Yeah, and you notice the way that he tried to convince him, like he definitely put over, like Trick 2 belts and everything, but first thing he said was, I can be a Triple Crown champion.
Yeah.
He definitely was putting himself first, and then, oh, but you can have this accolade too, Trick. Like, but I can be the Triple Crown champion. I will have been world champion, North American champion, now tag champion. It definitely seems like Melo is being selfish here.
Definitely seems that way, I will say. Like, he's thinking more about himself than about Trick Williams. And honestly, the way things are going, I know this would be pretty predictable and like pretty obvious. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe Carmelo Hayes costs Trick Williams the title, or at the end, let's say he does beat Ilya Dragunov, he wins, and Carmelo Hayes just like turns on him. The usual backstab way they go.
I think the big key, the big X factor, the big question mark is how long is Ilya Dragunov going to be out of action?
Is he legitimately injured, or is it a kayfabe?
He is. Okay. He is legitimately injured. That's the whole reason they didn't do the match last week, and then he wasn't even on the show this week. Mm-hmm. You would think if it was a kayfabe injury, they would at least have had like a video package or something.
Yeah.
My guess here is that Trick and Carmelo will win the first round match. They'll lose in the semis. And then that'll lead to Trick versus Melo at Vengeance Day. And then Trick will get his shot at Ilya at Stand and Deliver, which is WrestleMania weekend.
Okay.
That's like WrestleMania night 1 morning. I think last year we started covering that at like 11 a.m. It went from like 11 to 2. And then there was like an hour and a half, 2 hour gap between that and night 1 starting.
See, I didn't go to NXT Stand and Deliver mainly because I don't want
Because it's
NXT.
not your NXT, I know.
But to get to from the Staples Center to the SoFi Stadium in 2 hours, yeah, good luck with that. It's like across town.
Well, that's why you take the Metro, the blue line or whatever they call it now, probably would have got you there in about 45 minutes. Trying to drive in LA traffic, forget about it. But the Metro rails, you probably could have got it done in about a half hour, 45-hour tops.
I
I think you would have had to take 2 trains, but I don't know what the relation is in Philly for, the Eagles Stadium and wherever they're going to be doing NXT Stand and Deliver, how long the traffic is, but still a lot of people that were doing it.
Yeah, I bet.
There was a part of me that wanted to go to Stand and Deliver when it was out here for our Mania, because I knew I wasn't going to get a ticket to go to Mania. That was going to be too expensive, but it's my NXT, man, and this was my NXT's WrestleMania show. I wanted to go to it. Watch Melo defeat Bron Breakker. I just didn't have the money, so.
I went to WrestleCon, then I came back home. I went to WrestleCon, came back home, and then went to Night 1 of Mania.
There you go.
All right, so then afterwards, we had the first round match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was Gallus versus
yes.
Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin. So I have to say, I feel like I thought that Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker worked really well together. I think that they actually made a pretty decent tag team. Now, I don't know much about Gallus here. One of the things that I had trouble with in this match, again, because I'm not familiar with everybody yet, I had to sit here and Google the names of Gallus, so it kind of hindered me taking notes on here. But I feel like this match was more about Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker teaming together than anything else.
Definitely. As long as it only hindered you taking notes and it didn't hinder the gender, we're good. But yeah, it was definitely about Bron and Corbin, because there was the whole thing last week about, we're just a couple of assholes, and if we come together, there's no reason why we can't smash and destroy all the competition. And Gallus is a tough team. Like, again, Noah would be the one to talk to you about Gallus. He loves the Gallus boys.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they had some big time feuds with Imperium and NXT UK, and you kind of know the Imperium style. You've seen them on the main roster, so you can just imagine the kind of brawls that they would have each other after seeing Gallus tonight. But yeah, the Gallus boys are a good team. They're a cohesive team. I'm not surprised that Corbin and Breakker won, because I do see them going all the way to the finals in this thing. But it was a smash mouth match. It was good, really hard hitting.
I feel like Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin, as commentary alluded, there's been a lot of oddball teams entering this. There may be a situation of the Broserweights here, where it was Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. They actually ended up winning the entire tournament. Might be that type of situation.
Possibly.
Yeah. All right. So next we got a Lyra Valkyria segment promo, where she was basically talking about how she's pretty confident that she's going to end 2024 the same way she started, as NXT Women's Champion here. And she was wondering, the big question is, who is she going to face at Vengeance Day? And she mentions the 20 women battle royal that we talked about briefly in the beginning. And the final 4 becomes a fatal 4-way? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a nice little twist there. You have your elimination, 16 women have to get eliminated, and then the final 4, it's a fatal 4-way. It's a scramble. I'm not sure if they're going to do elimination style or if it's just going to be one fall to a finish at that point. But either way, I think it's a nice little touch there. I could see Cora Jade being in the final 4. I could see Gigi Dolin being in the final 4. I could see Fallon Henley being in the final 4, and maybe Tiffany Stratton. and have those four, since that, we had the Gigi Cora thing tonight, which I know we'll talk about in a minute. And then we had the vignettes throughout the evening of the Fallon Tiffany thing.
Yeah,
those
we'll
have been
talk
like
about
the
that.
two female main feuds going on. I could see those being the final four.
That would be an interesting final four. So, okay, Electra Lopez. Gotta make sure. Okay, Electra Lopez and Lola Vice.
Yes, not Electra Nachios.
Or Carmen Electra here.
Yeah. Or Jennifer Lopez.
No, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I gotta catch myself sometimes here.
See, you got another viewer here that enjoys the fact that you're watching NXT.
Yeah, Bacon has for the longest time. Bacon's been telling me that I need to watch NXT. I bet he's happy right now that I'm watching, that I've actually watched NXT.
It's all because of a deal I made with her, Bacon. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're not welcome, Bacon. No. So basically, Lyra says that she's not here to see Lola Vice shake her ass on Instagram. She wants to fight Lola Vice, the cage fighter.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to see that match happen. Lola Vice says she's Latina heat, and I love the fact that she spoke Spanish. But Lyra makes a point to say that the only Latina heat she sees is, God, I was about to say Electra Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of brings up the fact that when is Lola going to break the news to Lopez that she's not using the contract to cash in on the tag titles, the NXT the tag titles. And then Lyra calls for the referee, and Electra Lopez attacks her, and then Paisley, I think,
Peyton Paxley
helps Lyra here, and we're gonna get ourselves a tag team match. Blair, holla.
Yeah, that'll probably be next week too. So I wouldn't be surprised if those 3 of those 4, Lyra has no business being in it anyway as champion. I wouldn't be surprised if the other 3 aren't in the Battle Royal, so that we can then have that tag match.
Bacon says yes, LOL, finally. And Bacon says, she said, oh, it's too much wrestling.
But yeah, I mean, apparently you can use that contract for a shot at any title, as we saw Oba do. I mean, I guess we thought that it would just be a world title scenario, and Oba used his contract for the North American title. Since the NXT women's tag titles were unified with the main roster tag titles, I don't see any reason why they couldn't have used them as a cash in on the main roster tag titles. But yeah. It definitely, tried to drive that wedge between the two of them, much like is happening with Trick Mello.
Yeah, definitely. I got that. Okay, let me see. Michael says, yeah, an NXT review, and it's gonna happen.
You're welcome, Michael.
Every Tuesday at 10:30 because of this deal that I have with JJ. I cannot wait till he starts watching TNA, and I hope someday he believes in Joe Henry.
What I can't wait for is the NXT after Vengeance Day, when you do it on your own because you've become a fan and you don't need me to carry you through the reviews anymore. That's what I'm waiting for.
We'll see if that happens. It says that Tiffany Stratton segment made me laugh. She's going to be a star on the main roster. We haven't even talked about that yet. We'll get to it at the end. It says, Ro, we need to get Datila knowing the story of all Oba Femi got his title. I don't know if I like guys. every week until Vengeance Day, okay? After that, I'm probably not going to continue, so don't get your hopes too high. I like having my Tuesdays off.
One of us. One of us.
Laying down, watching my soap, watching Power Rangers, or listening to music. And instead, I'm sitting here reviewing NXT with you.
And I appreciate it.
I'm glad you do. This is going to be a long month. After Vengeance Day, she will continue. I don't think so. We'll
Got to
see.
get those ratings up on these videos. If she sees the view clips, she can't
If I
help
was
but keep it
monetized,
going.
I would make people. I would ask for super chats to get me to watch NXT.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So afterwards, again, like a couple backstage segments with some Luca. I think that was his name.
Yeah, Luca Crustafino or something like that, I think was his
showing
name.
Ava like photos of his foot being under the roof. What was that about?
Well, like I told you in private chat, he was a member of the men's breakout tournament, and I forget who he fought, but the match ended in controversy there. His foot was under the rope, and he was just like, the referee should have called for the rope break because if your foot is on or under the rope, it's supposed to be a break. It's supposed to be no fall. Referee didn't see it, so he didn't call it. Referee's decisions are final. So Ava said that she would talk to Shawn Michaels about it.
Okay. And so then after that, Dragon Lee apologized for last week. And then Alexis King approached him and asked him about the open challenges. He even had a contract drafted up. And one of the things I liked is, if in case anybody doesn't speak Spanish, Dragon Lee basically said he's going to remove Alexis King's clown face.
Nice.
Which I thought was so hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of that. I know very basic Spanish, so I didn't understand most of what was said there.
100 likes, everybody, and she will continue. No need to. Why are you telling people that? That's no. Should join our group chat. We do. Rose should join our group chat. We do have a lot of fun. We'll talk about. I'll talk about that at the end, Bacon, with him. So we also had Josh Briggs confronting Noam Dar, I think.
Noam Dar, yeah.
Noam Dar. This leads into Metaphor's Aura Mensa versus
Oro Mensa, yeah.
Aura Mensa versus Josh Briggs. So I've never seen Aura Mensa. Metaphor. And just seen pictures of it. Okay. They were colorful and stuff. And what's up with that? Like, is that
okay? See, I have to be careful here because Metaphor on a whole annoys the ever-living shit out of me. But from a presentation standpoint and a presentation standpoint alone, you can't knock them. Two guys, two girls. Noam Dar is the NXT Heritage Cup champion. Oro Mensa is basically his muscle. Lash Legend is making some waves in the women's division, and Jakara Jackson is just another female there. If they still had the NXT Women Tag titles, I wouldn't be surprised if they got a shot at them and ran with them to boost Metaphor's standings. But the Heritage Cup, like I told you, it's 6 3-minute rounds, 20 seconds in between rounds, best 2 out of 3 falls, pinfall, submission, count out victories. If you get DQ'd or KO somebody, the match ends. Noam Dar is just one of those weaselly heels who finds some way to cheat and retain his Heritage Cup every single time. The best thing that I ever saw them do that entertained the shit out of me, and I think you might have seen it on your Halloween Havoc review, is they did a segment, I think it was the second week, where they were basically the Scooby-Doo game. And they went to a haunted house, and Akira Tozawa was like messing with them at the haunted house.
Oh my God.
Like, it was skits all throughout the night, like we had the Fallon Tiff thing this week, and just them dressed up as the Scooby-Doo gang exploring this haunted house. It was hilarious stuff. I'm not even gonna lie.
So Michael says here he doesn't like Metaphor. He says he finds him lame. He says Oba Femi finished his story. Heritage Cup is a waste. Noam Dar is all about me cup.
Yeah.
Bacon says Power Rangers vibe. Cup is basically pure rules. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess you could kind of say it's like pure championship rules to
Mhm.
an extent. I mean, they don't have like the rope break thing, which is one of the things that really makes the pure championship matches stand apart for me. 3 rope breaks and then there's no more rope breaks.
Mhm. Mhm.
But otherwise, I would say yeah, it's probably pretty similar, but also a little bit of MMA UFC with the 3-minute rounds and the only 20 seconds in between rounds is like want to keep this thing going but give it this more legitimate fight type of feel.
Okay. Um, I did like Metaphor's entrance. Is there a name, a play on the word metaphor?
Mm-hmm.
It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I'm like, wait, metaphor? Okay.
Noah likes to call them the TikTok rejects.
The TikTok rejects. I know he's got some weird nicknames for people.
Well, I mean, when you see them a little bit more, especially the 2 women, Jakara and Lash Legend, something about them just rubs him the wrong way.
It's gonna
And
be
then
a
he
long
talks
month.
about like how Oro Mensa sounds like some kind of disease you contract.
Okay, I see. So
You're gonna have to pick his brain when there's a down point during Hard to Kill. Oh wait, you're gonna be there, but the next time you do commentary with him or something, you're gonna have to pick his brain about it because him talking about metaphor is hilarious.
okay. So Josh Briggs is
Mm-hmm.
victorious here.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, at the end of the day, he was going against the Stooge. He was going up against Oro Mensa.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they basically set it up where he had to defeat Mensa to get another shot at the cup. So in order to get himself another shot, he had to beat Mensa.
And he did.
So
So he's
kind of
getting another
knew
shot.
that was yeah. I don't know if
Okay.
they'll make that Vengeance Day because that's almost a month away, or if they'll do it in a couple weeks, whatever. But
This is gonna be a long month.
it
Because he
is.
knew Briggs was winning it. Okay.
But by the time we get to Vengeance Day, you won't need my help on the storylines anymore because you'll be having had watched every single week.
It's been hard.
I'll still be here to help you, but you won't need my help.
Michael says the month will fly by.
Yep.
Question for me and for you, since you won't be here on the reviews, do you think? Oh, since you won't be on the reviews, do you think Mercedes is gonna show up on Dynamite? The big kids on Wednesday.
But I think that's what he's saying is he's
Yeah,
asking me since I won't be here. I don't think she's going to show up on Dynamite. I don't think they're going to do 2 female roster debuts back to back weeks.
yeah, I don't
That's
think so
just going to
either.
take all of the shine away from Deonna Purrazzo if they
Which
bring
I don't want
Mercedes
to
out.
happen.
If somebody is going to come out tomorrow, I think it's going to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Even if she is still injured, I believe she is based in Florida. And since they are at Daly's place, it wouldn't be hard for her to make an appearance, even in a backstage segment, and
Yeah,
get that pop.
yeah.
Possibly do like a face to face with Britt and Deonna to down the road plant that seed.
I think she would debut at Dynamite, but next month or okay. Let's save that conversation for
Yeah,
Dynamite. Let's save
yeah.
that for tomorrow.
I will be in the chat room tomorrow because AEW and Impact are the only things I get at East Coast times. So I will be in the chat room for that tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be in the chat. You can ask him tomorrow. Let's get through. Let's stick to this NXT thing.
Yes.
All right. So next we had the NXT Tag Team Title match. It was OTM versus Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo.
Yes.
So again, just like before, I had to Google who was who during this match, so that kind of hindered my ability to take notes during this match. I thought for the most part it was a decent match. I'm a little familiar with Tony D'Angelo. I've heard of him. It's the first time I see him wrestle, though.
Okay. I would definitely try to find some matches of Tony D'Angelo and the D'Angelo family from, I want to say, late 2022, because there was a big feud going on with the D'Angelo family and Legado del Fantasma
Okay.
with Santos, Joaquin, Cruz. There were matches to see, which family was going to have to fold into the other one's family. And Santos and the Legado basically had to become part of the D'Angelo family for a while before winning their freedom. The D'Angelo family were supposed to be heels, but just kind of naturally became fan favorites.
The FBI 2.0?
Basically, yeah.
The full-blooded Italians?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they finally won the tag titles, like everybody was going batshit crazy for them because they wanted them to get the belts for so long.
Mm-hmm.
OTM, Bronco Nima, and Lucian Price, they're upstarts. They definitely, to me, have a bit of that Crime Time feel to them. Again, Noah calls them like Grand Theft Auto, like reject characters, GTA rejects. But the girl that they talked to, um, Jada Parker, could be the missing piece once she fits in with them and Reggie scripts, and they kind of figure out their chemistry as a team.
Yeah, so Io says this week belongs to TNA. Yes, it does. Michael says you were rooting for them to win the belts. He says great NXT show. Okay. So wasn't Cole Carter in AEW 2 times, I think? 2 times? Or wasn't he?
Maybe. I don't. That was before I started watching AEW.
Okay.
Who's Cole Carter?
I think I don't know how to describe
Was that
him.
Stax?
No. He's never mind.
Okay.
Okay, Michael says, yeah, he was 2 times. And then they did a segment that he got like thrown into the ocean, I think, or something. That's when he got released. So, all right. Then we get the Oba Femi interview. And he's basically talking about what the let me see. Michael says they threw him off the bridge. Okay. So Oba Femi during this interview says that the contract means he can become champion whenever, and that he could cash in at Stand and Deliver, which we find out that later on in the night he cashes in and becomes NXT North American champion, which we talked about at the beginning. And then Lexis King interrupts and says that if it wasn't for some wrestler, he would be calling. It wasn't for some wrestler. I don't know who he mentioned, and he basically calls himself the next North American champion. So, what did you think of this?
The Trey Bearhill or whatever his name was. Yeah, he was the guy that was attacked by Lexis Keene, and Lexis Keene took his spot in the tournament.
Oh, okay.
And so he came out just kind of like playing the distraction. So if he hadn't been out there, Lexis Keene feels that he would have won the match. But I still feel like it would have been the same result with Oba Femi coming out and cashing in his, title opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of see where Lexis Keene is coming from on that, though.
Okay. Michael says since he's going to be in Orlando next week, he wants to attend NXT, but he knows he probably won't because they'll pick and choose who they want to have to come and see it live.
Try anyway.
Lexis King is being handled better here than he was in either. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So then afterwards, we get like a backstage segment with like Ridge Holland and Gallus here. Gallus?
Gallus.
Gallus. Okay. And Ridge Holland tells him not to worry about him. And like they say there's no fear in Ridge Holland's eyes. And they kind of question how long can Ridge Holland survive in NXT?
Right. I think they're trying to play off of the mental issue here, with the promo he caught last week of all the injuries that he sustained, with the fact that he's the one that injured Ilya Dragunov, with the fact that he's injured people in the past. I think they're trying to like get inside his head.
Okay. And Michael says Gallus is great. He's holding him NXT UK. He feels bad for Gallus getting the what?
The L.
Oh, the L. All right. And so we got Cora Jade versus Gigi Dolin here. Cora Jade defeats Gigi Dolin. I think this is a pretty decent match. I feel from what you've told me, I feel like Gigi Dolin's just kind of like there, while JC Jane has found her storyline with, as you call it, Chase U. Did I do this correctly?
Okay. You did do it correctly. She can be taught, folks. Not only is she watching NXT, but she subscribes to Chase U too.
I don't think I would want to subscribe to Chase U, considering they're in bankruptcy right now, based on their storyline.
Supposedly.
Michael says Gigi and Cora worked good in the match.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, Gigi has kind of just been floating around. I wish Gigi could find her way back to JC.
Yeah.
The two of them, along with Mandy Rose as Toxic Attraction, made such a great stable. And just put the two of them back together as a tag team, they could be amazing again.
Toxic Attraction wasn't just an attraction; they were the attraction. I saw the Vignette.
Yep.
Michael says you should give me a Chase U shirt. Tiffany stole the shirt. We haven't even talked about that yet. We'll talk about that after this match.
It's funny that Michael mentions that, because I just in the mail the other day got my own Chase U shirt.
Okay. So as people have mentioned, throughout the night, we got a lot of Tiffany Stratton vignettes, and she was on the farm. Like, she had to, she had to help Peyton? No, what's her name?
Fallon Henley.
Fallon Henley out on her farm. I don't know about you, but I got Simple Life vibes, season 1. This reminded me of when Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, they were on that farm, and they had to milk the cow. They had to load the bottles of milk.
Mm-hmm.
That totally reminded me of the Simple Life.
100%. I knew that's exactly what it was going to be. It was so great.
Michael says, yes, Chase U all the way. Bacon Mrs. Toxic Attraction. And we're showing our ages here. I'm not sure if anybody else in the chat or watching this has even watched The Simple Life, but we're showing our ages here. Michael said, God, The Simple Life, that show, it was hilarious. Season 1 was my favorite. I think season 1 was like probably the best ones out of the other 4 seasons. They did, I think, 5 seasons, and season 1 was like the best one.
Season 1 was definitely the best, because everything after that, it was like you kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the first season was like, oh my God. And that's exactly what this was, man. Watching Tiffany have to wash the horse, watching her scoop up horse shit, watching her take that tumble into the tub. Like, it was pure comedy. You literally could have turned the volume down, threw them into black and white, and made them timeless Tony Storm movies. Like, that's how funny the comedy was for some of them.
Yeah.
Like, legitimate. It was so good.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed those segments. All right. And yeah, I think Tiffany Stratton, she definitely, as the chat mentioned, as Io mentioned, stole the show. Yeah, she was really great, and I think she's got a bright future ahead of her.
Definitely. I mean, Tiffany took a long time to grow on me because, and I think I mentioned this last week, she just has that look about her, and you're like, she looks too pretty to be a wrestler. She looks like a Barbie doll. You know, I don't buy her as a wrestler, but over the last 12 months, man, once she gets up to the main roster, she is going to go places. I can just imagine her and Chelsea Green doing stuff with each other. I could imagine her and Natalia doing stuff together. I could imagine her and Truth doing a skit with each other.
Speaking of Truth, Michael says he thinks Tiffany beat out R-Truth's promo last night.
I don't know, man. That R-Truth promo was like beautiful. The way that he photoshopped the Judgment Day in your house cover from like 1998 with that originally had the Undertaker on it and put him on it, that was beautiful.
I was dying.
That was so good.
Okay, Michael says Mariah May is AEW's version of Tiffany. Fallon Haley appeared on AEW Dark, if I'm not mistaken, before she joined Josh Briggs. IO Productions said she can do a hell of a moonsault. Yes, she can. I've seen her moonsaults. That promo would never get old. It was hilarious. It definitely was.
Yeah.
So lastly, we have the second Dusty Rhodes tag team cup match. It was Hank and Tank versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to watch this match. Do you want to go ahead and talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, this was your standard like power versus speed agility type of team. And Hank and Tank really came out looking to prove themselves. Unfortunately, Axiom and Nathan Frazier were able to get the better of them. The only thing that I didn't really like is even though Axiom and Nathan Frazier are friends and kind of have teamed together in the past, it just kind of felt like two teams that were thrown together, moved on in this half of the bracket because you got Bron and Corbin and Axiom and Frazier. Hank and Tank don't have like a cohesive name. They're called Hank and Tank, but they've been teaming together cohesively for months. Whereas Axiom and Frazier don't have that tag team history behind them. At least not in this NXT. Maybe in NXT UK they did some stuff together, but I just felt like throwing two random teams together to have to go to the next round wasn't it. And it just makes it even more obvious that Bron and Corbin are going to beat Axiom and Frazier in the next round.
I think that's probably why that happened.
I mean, either way, I think Bron and Corbin would have had it easy because there's no way that Hank and Tank were going to beat Bron and Corbin either.
That's true.
So it's just a matter of who they thought would get the best match out of them. And I think that's why it went with that particular pairing. But it was a solid main event, solid match.
So Michael says it was a good main event. The Dusty Tag Team Classic is great every year. Bacon saying that they uploaded the full Tiffany Stratton segment on YouTube with no commercials. Okay, I might check it out. So because we already talked about the main event, we're gonna go ahead and stop there. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent show. Let me see. There were, again, I'm not familiar with everybody, so I had a hard time keeping up here. But I didn't think it was too of a terrible show. So on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, what would you rank tonight's show?
I'd probably give it a solid 8.5 to 9, somewhere in that range.
Michael says a 6 out of 10. I'm just curious why you think 6 out of 10. And then Hank and Tank feels like a heavy machinery. Okay, now I could see that. For me, I'm still getting familiarized with myself for everything. So I hope to see more of Oba Femi now more on the show. Yeah, hopefully he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. I thought it was a pretty decent show. I'd give it 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10? It's a pretty big drop after last week where, it was a 9.5.
Well, that's because it was a PLE.
Well, it wasn't a PLE, it was a special, but still.
Okay, special. Yeah.
It was like Winter is Coming. It was just a TV special,
I liked last week's show a little bit better.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot going on this week with the beginning of the Dusty Classic that might have taken you out of it a little bit. And then, like you said, you did miss that one match. So you didn't really get to see it for yourself.
No. Bacon says she's going to join. We'll see. We'll see. She will say Vengeance Day. We haven't even gotten to Vengeance Day. It's not even February yet. You guys are jumping way ahead. But overall, like I said, not a bad show. Yeah. But I like last week's a lot better.
They have the faith in you. They believe in you the way that you believe in Joe Hendry. The way that Joe Hendry believes in you.
Michael says join us, NXT for life.
For life, Datila.
Bacon says boo. Who are you booing?
Probably Joe Hendry.
No, I hope not. Okay, so JJ, where can people find you and what do you have coming up?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at ROWJJWilliams. I do reviews every Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, where I talk about my thoughts on the shows for the week. Mondays, I usually do the weekend shows, which would be Rampage, Collision, and SmackDown. Tuesday is Raw, Wednesday NXT, Thursday is Dynamite. Once Hard to Kill happens, at least for that first month, Friday will be Impact. I will be discussing Impact. I feel it's only fair to her.
Yeah.
The deal we made that I've got to review Impact, at least from Hard to Kill to No Surrender, just like she's reviewing NXT from New Year's Evil to Vengeance Day. Gotta make it fair across the board. And then every Saturday across my YouTube channel, which is Casa D18 Studios, you can find Open Mic Night, which is just a cool little panel show. Datila pops in usually at some point during the show. Me, my friends, we just talk about the wrestling topics for the week. Whether they're good, bad, I'm sure this week we're going to be discussing the Tony Khan tweets that occurred today. If you don't know what happened, go on to Twitter, look at Tony Khan's Twitter account, and just pop you some popcorn.
Bacon says he's booing at me for that bad rating. He says they believe in NXT. Michael says he won't be able to watch Impact if I told him because Fries and Figs got rid of X. Well, Michael, in case you didn't know, you can watch Impact on YouTube with Impact Insiders for as low as 99 cents a month. You get the weekly show, and for $4.99 a month, you get the weekly show and the plus specials. See, there you go, Bacon. There you go. You can watch it for 99 cents on YouTube.
You sound like the old WWE Network commercial.
See, thank you, IO. YouTube Insiders and TNA Plus are your friends. Exactly. Thanks, IO. You'd rather spend your money on Peacock for dirty than that. Okay. Well, to each their own then. Don't say I did. We didn't tell you where to find Impact Wrestling.
I'm just thankful that Noah gave me his login information, so I just have to go to his YouTube account and I can watch the Impact Plus specials that way.
See, you pay $9.99 for Peacock, but Impact Insiders is cheaper. Don't say we didn't help you. Exactly. You tell him, Mayo. You tell him.
That's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to personal choice. Part of why I haven't watched Impact this long is honestly because I forget what channel access is, that I have to go to my Spectrum app and find it in like the 700 section to be able to watch it on a Thursday when I don't usually watch wrestling. Nobody talks about wrestling on Thursday. They always talk about Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, Collision. So like they always hype those days. No one talks about Thursday wrestling anymore, not since SmackDown moved from Thursdays. So it's a day that I'm being honest. So I'm trying to mentally program myself. Like I said, I sent myself in a message the times, the channel, so that come next Thursday, I can sit down and I can watch my first episode.
The fallout from Hard to Kill should be fun. A lot of fun. I cannot wait.
And we'll see what's going on Thursday, but I might watch this week just to kind of get the Hard to Kill hype. So I'm up on everything.
Bacon says he still has a network just because he's Canadian. Nice plug for Impact. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. If you haven't already done so, feel free to check out my unboxing of the AEW 2023 Upper Deck Blaster Box, which was released today. And with that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow after AEW Dynamite. Bye!